You're not listening. It's not about you. It's about what's out there. It's attentive. You're making noise. It's studying the noise. And it will start studying you. Another pause, longer. I could almost hear his skepticism crystallizing. The tribal listener stories. You're referring to those. I'm not referring to stories, Dr. Thorne. I'm referring to the thing that stared into my security camera and broke it with its mind. The thing that mimics, but doesn't understand. Your linguistic decay curve is it trying to talk. What do you think happens when it decides it needs a better reference? A reference? He sounded intrigued, not afraid. A living speaker, I said, each word dripping with frustration. It's already taken one. It's learning. You and your team are a classroom full of new vocabulary. An extraordinary claim, he said, but his tone had shifted from excitement to careful neutrality. One that would require evidence. If you have any, the corrupted security footage, for instance, I would be very keen to see it. He thought I was a paranoid layman, but a potentially useful one. I was about to hang up when he said, "We're conducting a field survey tomorrow. Dawn. Near the old forestry station off Trailhead 7. If you're serious about your concerns, come. Show me. Otherwise, I have a responsibility to pursue knowledge, Mr. Klein. However unsettling its shape may be." He hung up. I spent the night in a chair by the window, the shotgun across my lap. I knew what he was doing. It was a challenge. A dare. He didn't believe me, but the seed of doubt was there, and his academic curiosity was a drug stronger than fear. He would go. His team would go. And they would be like children ringing a dinner bell in a lion's den. I couldn't let that happen. As the first gray light touched the sky, I made a decision. I would go. I would try to convince them, to scare them off. I loaded the shotgun, filled a pack with shells, water, a first aid kit I prayed I wouldn't need, and drove my old truck to the Trailhead 7 parking lot. It was empty. A note was tucked under my windshield wiper, written on college letterhead. Mr. Klein, we've moved the survey location further east for better coverage. Proceed to the marked coordinates. AT. The coordinates were scribbled below. I plugged them into my GPS. It was deeper in. A 2-hour hike from here, in a dense, low valley the map called Whisper Basin. The name made my skin crawl. It was a trap. Not set by Thorne, I sensed, but by something that understood human predictability. It had seen his equipment, heard his team. It had led them further in. And it had known, somehow, that I would follow. Every cell in my body screamed to go home, lock the door, and wait for the news of missing researchers to break. But the image of that long-fingered hand, reaching, floated behind my eyes. I saw it reaching for a young grad student instead. I thought of Ilya's words, the only way to kill them is to make them copy something already dying. I had no plan to kill it. But I had to try to stop the experiment. The hike was a nightmare of heightened senses. Every crack was a footstep. Every rustle was it, moving parallel to me. The forest was alive with normal sound, but it felt like a mask. The silence was waiting beneath, patient. I reached the edge of Whisper Basin as the sun crested the mountains. It was a misty hollow, thick with old-growth spruce and a carpet of moss so deep it swallowed sound. In the center, I saw Thorne's team. 3 people. They had audio parabolic dishes set up like satellite receivers, and a bank of blinking electronics on a folding table. They were wearing headphones, speaking in hushed, excited tones. Thorne saw me first. He lowered his headphones, a frown on his face. He was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with the intense gaze of a true believer. "You came," he said, not smiling. "I'm surprised. You need to pack up and leave. Now." One of his students, a woman with red hair in a practical braid, glanced over. "We're getting incredible substrate noise, Dr. Thorne. Fluctuations in the 1 to 5 kHz range that correlate with." "Pack it up," Liz, Thorne said, his eyes on me. Give us a moment. The students exchanged looks but began powering down equipment. You have the footage? Thorne asked. No. It's corrupted. That's the point. It learns. It adapts. It's not an animal, it's a process. And you're feeding it data. A process, he repeated, nodding slowly. That's not far from my own hypothesis. I believe it may be a previously unknown natural phenomenon, a self-sustaining acoustic echo that has, over centuries, developed a kind of resonant intelligence. A stationary entity composed of sound and memory. It's not stationary, I said, my voice trembling. And it has hands. His theory shattered in his eyes, replaced by confusion and a dawning, real fear. What? I saw it. It's physical. It's learning to be physical. You're teaching it. I gestured at the equipment. Every recording, every frequency you capture, it's a lesson. Liz, who had been listening, piped up. Dr. Thorne, the pattern has been changing. The phoneme repetitions are getting more structured. Almost conversational. Conversational about what? Thorne asked, turning to her. She looked pale. The last clean capture. It was a loop. 3 words. What words? Before she could answer, the forest died. The mist held. The light stayed. But every insect, every bird, every whisper of wind through a billion needles, it stopped. The silence was a physical blow, a vacuum that sucked the air from our lungs. Thorne's face went slack with terror. The students froze. From the mist, 30 yards away, a shape resolved. It stood at the tree line. It was tall, maybe 7 feet, and unnaturally thin. Its skin was the color of old mushrooms, mottled gray and white. Its limbs were long, with too many elbows and knees, joints bending in ways that sparked a deep, evolutionary revulsion. Its head was smooth, featureless save for a slight depression where a face should be. It was a crude sketch of a man, drawn by something that had only ever seen shadows. It didn't move. It just stood, facing us. Then, from a slit that opened in the smooth flesh of its head, a sound emerged. It was the garbled, clicking speech, but clearer now. The words were mangled, the rhythm arrhythmic, but they were recognizable. It was the phrase Liz had captured. Is this human? It wasn't a question. It was a statement of inquiry. A test. Liz made a small, choked sound. The other student, a young man, took a stumbling step back. Don't move, I breathed, the shaman's warning screaming in my mind. Do as they do. The listener's head tilted. The slit vibrated. Move, meant. Response. It took a step forward. Its gait was wrong. The legs moved independently, a stuttering, puppet-like motion. It was copying locomotion, poorly. Thorne was shaking, his academic detachment vaporized. My God, he whispered. The listener stopped. Its blank head swiveled towards Thorne's voice. Zation. It raised one of its long arms, the fingers twitching, splaying, as if trying to articulate a complex thought. Pat, turn. In, complete. It wanted a complete pattern. A full human behavioral set. Speech, movement, reaction. It was going to take one of us apart to get it. Run, I said, the word barely audible. The young male student broke. He screamed, a short, sharp sound of pure panic, and turned to flee. The listener moved. It didn't run. It flowed. One moment it was 20 yards away, the next, its elongated form was passing through the space where the student had been. There was no sound of impact, just a wet, tearing sigh. The student's scream was cut off. He collapsed, a dark spray arcing through the mist. The listener stood over him, its fingers, now slick and dark, plucking at the air. Mimicking the boy's final, running motion. Liz was hyperventilating, tears streaming down her face. Thorn stood paralyzed, his mouth working soundlessly. The listener's head lifted from its grim study. It looked at Liz. It took a step towards her. My body acted before my mind. The shotgun came up. I didn't aim. I just pointed in its general direction and pulled the trigger. The boom was cataclysmic in the silence. The spray of buckshot ripped through the mist and tore a chunk of moss and wood from a tree 6 feet to the listener's left. It froze. Its entire body went perfectly still. Then, slowly, its head rotated a full 180 degrees to face me. The slit pulsed. Sound. Press, sure. Violence. It had learned about guns. It left Liz and began moving towards me, its stuttering gait becoming smoother, more confident with each step. It was integrating the new data. Human makes loud, destructive sound. I backpedaled, fumbling for another shell. Thorn finally snapped into action. He grabbed Liz's arm and dragged her towards the tree line opposite the creature. Run. Now. The listener ignored them. Its focus was on me. On the source of the new, interesting pattern. I jammed the shell into the breech, snapped it closed, and raised the gun. It was 15 feet away. I could see the texture of its skin now, like hardened fungus. I could see the slight tremors in its limbs as it calibrated movement. Stop, I said, my voice a ragged thread. It stopped. 10 feet away, calm, manned, it intoned. It was analyzing my word, my tone. It raised its hand again, the long fingers curling. Hand. Holds. Metal. Tool. It was decomposing me, piece by piece. I couldn't shoot. I knew, with a cold certainty, that if I did, it would learn the pattern of recoil, the spread of the shot, the time between trigger pull and impact. It would incorporate it. The next time, it would be ready. This was its laboratory. So I did the only thing I could think of. I dropped the gun. It clattered on the rocky ground. The listener's head jerked down, tracking the sound, then back to me. I stood empty-handed. I forced my breathing to slow. I forced myself to be still. A stump. A rock. In action, it buzzed, confused. The pattern was inconsistent. Threat. Then. No threat. It took another step. 5 feet away now. I could smell it, a scent of ozone, damp earth, and something sweetly rotten. Its featureless head was level with mine. I felt that same terrible focus, that microscope attention, scanning me. It reached out. The long, cold fingers touched my cheek. The contact was electric. It wasn't just physical. It felt like a cold needle being inserted directly into my mind, siphoning not thoughts, but templates. The template of a face. The structure of a skull beneath skin. The placement of eyes, a nose, a mouth. It was copying me. The finger traced down to my throat, hovering over my larynx. Sound, source, it whispered, its own slit vibrating in sympathy. This was it. It was going to take my voice box. To study it. A new sound cut through the mist. A low, rhythmic chanting. A drumbeat, slow and resonant as a heartbeat. The listener's hand froze. Its head snapped towards the sound. The intense focus on me broke, replaced by something else, a flicker of what might have been recognition, or ancient fear. From the mist behind it, figures emerged. Ilya's grandfather led them. 6 men from the tribe, their faces painted with ash and ochre. They carried no modern weapons. One had a drum. Others held staffs carved with spirals. The old shaman held his stone dagger. The listener hissed, a sound like steam escaping rock. It took a step back from me, its body coiling. The shaman chanted, his words old and guttural. He wasn't speaking to the listener. He was speaking to the forest, to the silence. He was breaking its control. The listener staggered, as if the chant was a physical force. It clutched its smooth head. Old. Noise. Wrong. Pattern. It remembers, the shaman called to me, his voice strained. It remembers the old words. The words that bound it to the deep places. It is not welcome in the world of living sound. The listener shrieked, a piercing, ultrasonic sound that made my teeth ache. It turned and fled, its form blurring as it streaked into the trees, leaving only a fading sense of wrongness and the coppery smell of blood. I collapsed to my knees, vomiting onto the moss. The shaman approached. He looked older, his energy spent. He glanced at the body of the student, his face grim. A life for its lesson. A high cost. You drove it off, I gasped. For now. We reminded it of its place. But it has tasted new patterns. Your patterns. It will not forget. He looked at me with those weary, knowing eyes. It has your shape now. In its mind. You are no longer a stump. You are a subject. He and his men tended to the body, wrapping it in a blanket of woven cedar bark. Thorn and Liz emerged, shaken and sobbing. The shaman spoke to Thorn in low, harsh tones. I heard words like foolish and grave. I picked up my shotgun. It felt useless, a toy. As we made the grim procession out of Whisper Basin, the shaman fell into step beside me. It will come to you, he said quietly. It has a piece of you. It will want the rest. To complete the copy, what do I do? You cannot kill it. Not with your tools. It is not alive as we are alive. It is a reflection that gained a will. To unmake it, you must confuse the reflection. Break the pattern it seeks. How? He was silent for a long time. It wants to be human. It is trying to assemble itself from borrowed pieces. You must show it what it means to be human. All of it. He would say no more. The college hushed it up. The student's death was blamed on a bear attack, a tragic accident. Thorn took a sudden sabbatical. Liz transferred schools. The official story was thin, but the town accepted it. It was easier than the truth. I increased my security. I bought more cameras, stronger lights. I slept with the shotgun by my bed. But the fear had changed. It wasn't a sharp panic anymore, it was a constant, cold dread, a certainty of inevitability. The shaman's words echoed, it will come to you. Weeks passed. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. No more garbled voices. No more sightings. The silence felt like a gathering storm. Then, one rainy night, the power went out. Not just my house. The entire grid for miles. My backup generator failed to kick in. I was plunged into utter blackness, the kind of dark that feels solid. The rain drummed on the roof. I stood in my living room, clutching the shotgun, listening. The usual night sounds were absent. Just the rain. A knock came at my front door. 3 soft, precise raps. My blood turned to ice. No one could be out there. The gate was locked. The road was a mile away. The knock came again. Tap. 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 I crept to the door, peered through the peephole. A man stood on my porch. He wore a dark raincoat, the hood pulled up. His head was bowed, water streaming off the fabric. Who is it? I called, my voice cracking. The figure looked up. The porch light was dead, but a flash of distant lightning illuminated his face for a split second. It was my face, paler. Slightly waxy, the features a little too smooth, like a sculptor's first draft. But it was me. The eyes were dark, empty pools. The mouth was a grim, expressionless line. It smiled. The movement was all wrong, muscles pulling in unfamiliar ways. Let me in, it said. Its voice was a near-perfect copy of mine, but flat, devoid of emotion. A recording. It is cold. I stumbled back from the door. The thing outside, the copy, knocked again, harder. Bang. 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 I am. You, it called, its voice still calm, monotone. We are the same pattern. It was trying to logic its way in. Using my voice, my words. I raised the shotgun, aiming at the door. Go away. Silence. Then, a sound of scraping. Metal on metal. It was trying the doorknob. Learning how it turned. Locked, it stated. A barrier. I heard a sharp crack of splintering wood. It was hitting the door. Not with frantic blows, but with measured, powerful strikes. It was testing the door's strength, learning its breaking point. I fired. The shotgun roared. The blast tore through the center of the solid oak door, leaving a fist-sized hole. Pell.